Okay, the index is a logbook or collaboration, I guess, of all the enemies in the game. It replaces the scores that used to be here, which I guess was a conglomeration of maps initially before that was removed, and then it was just badges. The badges have gone. Yeah, I'll probably make a video on this later, but that means the free deluxe crate that you got for beating hardcore mode, you no longer get it. Yeah, okay. So in the index, there are loads of enemies. You've got enemies that you've beaten, shall we say. However, you need to collect the logbooks for these enemies. To get logbooks, you need to kill enemies, and you have to pray and hope that they drop logbooks. However, the chance of these are quite low. So I think I know the odds. The only problem is the developers don't want it to be public yet. I think I can say it's quite low. For now, it's very, very low. You can't get it in sandbox mode, so don't try it in sandbox mode. But here you can see, this is what a logbook looks like. The enemy in question has like a random chance to drop it. It's local sided, meaning that only you can see it. Other people may not be able to see this. Additionally, you can get duplicates of one book, it appears. However, bearing in mind that when you collect it, it says you get one gem. Now this is a glitch. You don't actually get a gem. In fact, you don't get any gems for duplicates. You don't get his gems for the first one. I think it's meant to show the logbook icon, but due to a glitch, it shows the hardcore gem icon. Now, the problem is people are going to get confused, and unless someone tells them, oh, wait, you don't get any gems, they're going to be pissed. You can see this here. Before the update, I had 6,600 gems. And then here, I still have 6,600 gems, even though I've collected multiple logbooks. Therefore, you don't get any gems. It's meant to show a logbook icon. Wow, it's a glitch. Oh, wow. Now, it seems as if the enemy in question dropping the logbook does not depend on the enemy's health. Therefore, enemies that appear more often are going to be the more likely drops. So you can see here, you can see all of these enemies. They're kind of like, so for example, no slow boss, there's no speedy boss, there's no bosses that I've got collected either. It's all just like, I guess, a random collation of enemies. The rarest one I think I have is the ice beacon. The ice beacon is a really hard enemy to get because it's invisible, firstly. Secondly, it only appears when the frost spirit heals, and that's an ability, and it has like 8 abilities. So like in a match, you'll be seeing it like at least 3 times, but even then, you don't always drop it and you don't always kill it. Therefore, this is quite rare. I'd say it's not as rare as the Frost Spirit, obviously, but it is a rare item. And it's so rare, it doesn't actually have a description or anything. The index, all of these enemies, they're meant to have entries. However, right now, it's only the Operation Ice enemies that have a description. Some of them go out of the thing, I think. So the Weeping Angel goes out. Oh, no, so it depends on the size of your UI, but sometimes it just goes off the description. In the logbook, it shows the health and the speed. Do bear in mind, I think it's the base stats. So, for example, some enemies, they have question mark for stats. That's because they don't have a base health or base speed. That's based on the mode they're in. So I think that's the case for the breakers. They have question mark for their health and their speed. And it also shows the mode they appear in. If it's an event enemy, it says exclusive enemy. One of these also references the lake that you can fall through in Outpost 32. I completely forgot about that. Okay, it's actually the Frost Mystery that references, according to legend, these beings are created from those who fall through the frozen lakes and never resurface. Again, a reference to Outpost 32's Frozen Lake. Very cool, very cool. I like that. For the index, this is actually for all of the enemies. Easy, casual, intermediate, molten, insane, hardcore. You can see there are some duplicate entries because there's a circuit in Polluted Wastelands 2 and then there's a circuit in hardcore mode. I think that's separate, but here you got Breaker 1 in regular and then you've got Breaker 1 in hardcore. The thing about these is you can actually collect both of them in, say, an intermediate mode because they're technically the same enemy. For some reason, it's just listed twice. The thing about this is, if you go into, so the purpose of the logbook is that you can spawn enemies in sandbox mode. If you collect a breaker, if you collect the 2 breaker entries, it means you only get one of them, and I think it's this one, not this one. Also, if you get duplicate logbooks of an entry, you don't actually get the repeated enemy, nor do you get the gem that it says. Again, it's just meant to be a logbook, and it's just random. Because it's server-sided, you're not competing with anyone for it. It's just that the other person may get, I don't know, the Frost Spirit logbook and get it rare, while you don't. The thing about the logbooks is you can actually, you can only get it in normal game, so you can't get it in sandbox mode. So actually, Essentially, say for example the Frost Spirit's entry or logbook is going to be very, very rare. After the event, you won't be able to get it. Even if you have admin mode, as I do, you won't actually show up the Frost Spirit logbook. People have complained that, oh, it's going to take forever for us to get the logbook. The thing is, with the logbook, you don't actually get anything other than being able to spawn it. And even then, the event enemies cannot be spawned in sandbox mode, because the nature of sandbox mode is you cannot spawn in exclusive enemies. And event enemies are exclusive enemies. And that's just the quirk with sandbox mode is you can't just spawn in exclusive enemies. So even I right now cannot spawn in the frost enemies here. That being said, oh, actually got the old enraged. Sorry, deviation a bit. This is the enraged from, can I say it? So the PvP maps that were leaked a while back, this is the enraged here. Very cool. So with the Frost Spirit and all the enemies from the events, you can't currently spawn it even if you're admin mode, and in the future you won't be able to spawn it even if you have the logbook entries, because they'll become exclusive enemies, they'll become past events, they'll become legacy things. Therefore, you cannot spawn in those event enemies unless you have admin mode, and it doesn't really matter if you collect their logbooks. The logbooks are just there, so you have something cool, you have a cool entry, I guess. Now, interestingly, I wonder if the I want some system of trading for logbooks, so you have like Frost Spirit, yo, can I trade it in for the Ice Peak? And then again, it probably won't be like that. That's not how it works. Also, the Ice Peak has a speed of 0.001. That's basically as good as immobile. Most of the enemies that aren't the Frost Invasion enemies, they don't have entries yet. Developers will add it in the future, but right now it's not here. It's like, it's all over the place. It's not here. It'll add it later, but that's fine. You can also see that they have. So the hazmat here is different to the hazmat here. Yeah, they updated the model, but they haven't updated the icon. Fair enough. Additionally, some of these models are outdated. As mentioned, the circuit icons are outdated. Additionally, I think there's a mystery enemy here, even though there's like one map where the mystery enemies actually appear now. Also, here, they got, it's in alphabetical order. This is the, I think the something boomer, elite boomer, I think, I don't know. Yeah, they got cat image instead of the actual enemy. What the Fox is here, Vindicator's here, Void Reaver's here, Unknown is here. So yeah, so all the enemies are here. There are a couple of enemies that are missing. That's because you can't actually get the logbook. So for example, the Awakened Fallen King, you can't get its logbook because it's technically the Fallen King. In the code, it's listed as the second phase of Fallen King. Therefore, it's actually not its own unique enemy, and to call it its own enemy separate from the Fallen King is actually a misnomer. However, for all intents and purposes, it is its own enemy. You just can't get its logbook. Additionally, you can't get the logbook for the dummy boss. So in tutorial mode, you can't actually get logbook entries for enemies. I mean, it's going to be a bad way of getting it because there's only a few enemies that spawn in there. You can't get their entries anyway. As mentioned previously, you can't get it in sandbox mode, these logbook entries. You can get it in basically everywhere else though. Some of these enemies are going to be really, really rare because they're really, they don't exist. So for example, the Molten Titan here appears from the Legacy and the normal version. So that's the hardcore version that appears here, and this is the current version. Now, I'm going to be quite frank with you, because hardcore mode is going to get reworked in the future. You have a limited time to get all the hardcore legacy enemies, and because of how hardcore works, it's going to take quite a while for you to get everything, which is going to be really, really tough. Also, you got the mysteries, and then you also got the breakers. If I were you, if you're a completionist, aka you want every single logbook in the game, firstly you need to get the event items or the event enemies, because Frost Spirit is going to be really, really rare, and I don't have, say, the Frost Mystery. I don't care about the logbook entries per se, because the description is going to be, well, cool. I already know what the descriptions are because reasons. We're going to list it on the wiki. However, after that, you're probably going to want to get the hardcore enemies next, because those are the enemies that are going to go soon. They're listed as legacy because hardcore is going to get reworked and it's become legacy. Also, it runs off the old code, I think. Therefore, you have a limited time to get both the frost and the hardcore enemies. Just do it quickly if you want. If you're a completionist, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, make the drop items for these more common." The thing about these is they don't affect anything other than being able to spawn it in sandbox mode. Does it really affect gameplay? Not really. I mean, I guess. But it's not like a skin, even when you can change cosmetic. It's just that you can spawn it in admin mode, and admin mode you can get at 250. I think the logbooks you can get at any level, and if you have admin mode, you bypass all the requirements anyway. So yes, I can spawn in the Void Reaver without having the logbook for it, or the Vindicator, or the thing. It's going to take quite a while for other people to do that. This is not even to mention the map. So the maps is, you have to beat it on any game mode. So basically, just beat it on casual or beat it on easy. Like, that's the easiest way to get all the maps. It shows here how much of the progress you've beaten. It also shows now your wins on the map and your losses on the map and the best time. It's the best time is for all the game modes combined. So you're never getting a best time on the fallen modes. It's probably going to be on casual or easy mode. all of the maps here, including Badlands. Even though Badlands isn't a map that you can probably get, and if you beat it previously before this update, you can't get the entry again. All the entries are basically wiped before this update. You have to beat everything again to get the maps. The maps here, these are all for being able to get it in sandbox modes if you don't have admin mode. So in admin mode here, if you don't have logbook entry, okay, yes, admin mode needs to be activated. So here, U-turn. I have the logbook entry for U-turn. You can spawn it in and play it if you have the logbook entry in the index. If you don't have it, then you have to rely on admin mode or someone else to spawn it in. And then some of these maps, these are really exclusive. So for example, Headache Headquarters, you can't get this logbook entry. Additionally, you can't get the events map entries either. Again, because they're exclusive. You can spawn in Badlands. Also, for some reason, in hard, you can see there's Rotfield and Creator Your Mum. We'll talk about this later in admin mode. As for game modes, you can't get these game modes, by the way. These are only for... I wish they listed it clearly. They can only spawn these things in for admin mode. If you buy it, you can't get the logbook entry for these. There's no logbook entry for game mode, so don't bother. I'll talk about it more in the admin mode review. Also, for the index, it appears that for maps such as Pizza Party, because it doesn't actually follow any of these, it's actually a legacy fallen mode, it'll actually show up as all of the game modes if you complete it, not just say fallen mode, or because it's not run on that fallen mode, it's run on the legacy fallen mode. Additionally, if the map has hardcore mode, it will actually show up there. So here, Black Spot Exchange, yes, it has hardcore mode. There's a hardcore mode icon, but it's outdated because the Void Reaver is going to get reworked. So it's just that. I think that's everything in the logbooks and the enemies. Yeah, so happy collecting to everyone.